So I'm journaling tonight, and I'm writing in this book. And sure enough, the pen stops working. And what do we do when a pen stops working? We start scribbling, give it a little moisture, try again. And this thing is not budging. This thing is just not writing. And so you know what? I'm gonna keep writing. I'm going to continue. And guess what happens? I keep on writing, and sure enough, it starts working again. This week is the Exodus of Egypt. This week is a moment where the nation of Israel are leaving the slavery they endured, such a ridiculous amount of pain, of trauma, of death. And they go to the river. They're leaving, they're going, and Pharaoh changes his mind. God hardens his heart, and he's chasing the nation. He's chasing the nation of Israel. And there's horses and chariots just going behind them and running. And they come to the sea. Where do we go? We got children, we got tribes, we got sheep, we got our belongings. What the hell are we going to do? And the guys, the tribes are looking at each other like, please, bechavod, with pleasure, you go first, And there's nowhere to go. There's a sea in front of them. And there's man, Nachshon ben Aminadav. He goes, and he starts walking in the water. And he starts going. And it's up to his ankles, and it's up to his knees, and it's up to his thighs, it's up to his belly, it's up to his neck. And the water keeps going up to his mouth. Starts covering the nose. And he looks up because there is only one. There is only one. There is only one master of the universe. There is only one creator of this world. And what does God do? He opens up the sea and he splits it. And everybody starts crossing through. And everybody is going forward and moving forward. Every Torah portion of every week has a power within ourselves, of something to connect to, of something to learn from it. Because yes, it happened thousands of years ago, sure, but this is not a history book. This is an instruction manual on how to live our lives. And there is so much to learn from it. There is so much to take out of it. Just the lessons are insane. And it's just us tapping into it. What happens when they cross? They cross, and Pharaoh and his wagons and his soldiers and their arrows and swords are chasing them right after, straight into the water. You get to the other side, and some of them are so fearful. The water closed, but they don't see Pharaoh's chariots. They don't see his army. They don't see. This fear comes upon them, and God takes this water and he splashes everything on shore. All the chariots, all these dead soldiers, showing the Jewish nation, baby, I'm here with you. Guys, I am madly in love with you. I chose you. I went through a life. Let me rephrase that. I went through a past full of abuse in every way. Since I was a little child, through all those developmental years. And we can define ourselves by our past, or we can take that experience and see it as seedlings, sprouts, knowledge and experience of information and light. That's our responsibility to process, to go through, and to share and spread your beautiful light with this world. So many Jews did not make it out of Egypt. 4/5 of the nation, that means 1 out of 5 people made it out. Because the rest said, dude, this is slavery. This is what we know. This is what we're comfortable with. Leave us be in peace. Yes, our children are being murdered. Yes, Pharaoh is taking baths in infants' blood. Yes, they're taking babies and putting them into a wall and cementing over them. It's incomprehensible. Just to put ourselves in that position of the pain and the sorrow they experienced. But 20% say, you know what? We're not letting go. We know this was just a chapter in our lives, in our history, in our nation. We are not letting this define us as slaves for life. And being comfortable with the pain. That is so relatable. How many of us get stuck in our story, get stuck in our past, get stuck in our pain? And forget that there are so many more chapters and blank pages to fill. But it's up to us, it's up to all of us to give ourselves permission to move forward, to give ourselves the tools we need to move forward in this crazy life. I heard a great line from Mel Robbins today. She said, when you're looking for a partner, when you're looking for that love of your life, when you're looking for that peas to your pot, write it down on a piece of paper and be that for yourself. This was an interview with Jay. They were talking together. Jay Spetty, I believe his name is. He was a monk at one point, and this was such beautiful advice, because so much of what we're searching for, we can truly give to ourselves. So much of what we're searching for is what we're lacking. I heard a beautiful definition of what a healthy marriage is about a year and a half ago. Speaking with this man, actually I was in Ukraine right before the war broke out. And speaking to this guy who's a therapist as well in New York, we start schmoozing, we start rocking, his energy is beautiful, his light is wonderful, and we're just connecting. And he said, you know what a healthy marriage is? And I said, please enlighten me. He said, a healthy marriage is when the man and the woman separately, before they ever meet, work on themselves and be the source of everything they need. Be the source of love to yourself. Be the source of support. Be the source of care for all that you need. And their cups and their vessels are full and just overflowing. And it's just flowing and flowing and flowing. They meet each other. And their love is not taking or grabbing from one another, but rather overflowing from this abundance in which they created, in which the knowledge of source they have within themselves is just pouring onto each other. You know, when their children are born, this access, this overflow of love is passed down to their children. This overflow of all the blessings and all the mushiness and all the wonderful feelings are not stripped out of them. They're not in survival mode. They are living and they are thriving and they are being their whole selves. I thought that was the most beautiful thing, the most amazing definition of marriage and a healthy relationship that I've ever heard. Yes, most relationships we see are not that way. And there's the movie aspect and the Hollywood aspect of, oh my God, we're just falling in love. We are, take that word for a second, falling. If you're in love, do you want to fall? Or do you want to rise and grow? I don't want to fall. You don't want to fall. So how about a relationship where we're rising and thriving in love? And rather than falling, growing with one another, accepting one another fully, while being there for ourselves completely, not looking for a partner to hold us up. Our coat falls down and they're putting it back on the coat rack. No, we can do that for ourselves. Yes, there's love. Yes, there's giving, all of that. But when we give, we don't need to take away. We don't need to fall. Because when you are the source of love, when you are a candle and you can keep lighting other lights, that doesn't diminish your light. You're rather spreading it in the most wholesome way. Tomorrow night is the beautiful Holy Shabbat, where God told us, man, take a day, shut off everything, be here, be with you, and when you're with you, you can connect to me. When you're with you, you can connect with your family. When you're with you, you connect with your lover, with your children, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your community. It's a day of love and it's a day of rest. Man, whether you're Jewish or not, everybody should celebrate Shabbat. We all need that day of rest, that day of work is not my life. It's a part of it. It does not define who I am. So, how do you choose to define yourself right now? Are you still in survival mode? Are we still frozen? Is it fight or flight response? Was that inner child never comforted? And I wrote something before. It was amazing. Here we go. Unworthiness. Are we believing the unworthiness that was instilled upon us and passed down from people who didn't feel worthy on their own and who didn't do the work and the generational trauma that was just going and going and going and going? Or are we seeing that as God has his plan? Yes, the abuse some of us have endured, we never wish on anybody in the world. I don't know God's plan. I'm not a scholar. I'm a therapist. I'm a healer. I'm a lover, and I do my best to spread my light from my experience, my knowledge. So is our past, can we take it as experience and knowledge and light to spread rather than being a product of it? Simply taking the lessons we've learned, taking the knowledge and experience of what to do, and in many cases, what not to do. And to give ourselves permission to love, to give ourselves permission to thrive, to give ourselves permission to go out of survival mode and allow. It's such a key word, allow. Try it out. I allow myself to thrive. I allow wealth and blessings and abundance to enter into my life. I allow my beautiful adult self to hold that inner child and give them all the love they need and take the driving seat. Put those hands on the steering wheel and not have that child who's afraid and in panic and in pain be driving it automatically with our subconscious on autopilot just to take us off track. The past was the past. Future, who knows? Who knows? Life can be taken away like that. Tragedy can happen like that. And so can blessings, and so can success, and so can love. Take that time for you. Take that time to be there for yourself. Shut off your phone, shut off your laptop, shut off your TV, shut off all the newspapers and magazines and politics and bureaucracy. When people try to talk politics with me, I say, wait a second, whether I'm left, right, middle, first of all, left wing, right wing, what does that mean? It's a wing. We're the same freaking bird. And if one wing is not flapping, we're all going down. And another thing, if I'm going to talk to you about politics, will that change the reality in any shape or form? Or is it simply people adding the anxiety onto themselves and the mayhem? Perhaps because that's what they were used to growing up. Perhaps, who knows? To start being conscious of it. To start taking that time and being there to love and accept and let go and surrender what's not in our power. Letting go and letting God is truly the best way to live our lives. That's my truth. And I could take that truth and think, oh no, it was just a little boy who was molested, who was beat, who was hit. It was just a little boy, and just a big boy, but still in this little boy's, self. And that keeps us back. Or I can say, and you can say, here I am on the road again. And there I am, turn the page. Because this journey is not over, you're still breathing. You're here. You're here in this beautiful, crazy universe. Be that light onto yourself so you can be and spread that light to where it's needed. It was all done for a purpose. We may find out one day, we may never, and that's okay. What we do know is that we have the power to fill all these empty pages with whatever you want. Wishing you a Shabbat full of peace, a Shabbat full of love, a Shabbat full of serenity, full of accepting yourself, loving yourself, and connecting with your beautiful higher power, connecting with the creator of this universe, connecting to the past to process it and move on to the future. Shabbat Shalom, beautiful souls. Sending you love, sending you light, sending you strength. And sending you breathing that you could do anytime. So many gifts we have. Let's use them. Shabbat Shalom.